along the tracks and along the riverbed. And that's what brought about our original response and gathering together. Was we did have a lady from the River Watch group of the Russian River, and also a city council person who came in and asked the board to look into this issue. That was really why we took a look at it with a stronger eye over the last several weeks. We do have the annual reporting that's required of the Sheriff's Department, I think twice a year, but the reason this is before you today is in response to public comment that was generated by a city council member and property rights owners along the Russian River who were concerned about all of the hazardous materials going into the creek. So just wanted to clarify those items up for you.
Okay. Other questions, concerns, direction we're taking here? I have a couple comments. I'm very appreciative of taking this as a forward-looking type of a situation in the next spring. This river committee came together a number of years ago and kind of addressed one issue and kind of went away. And I don't think this problem is going to go away. It's going to be an ongoing problem. In fact, it might even increase as our gross county product increases. And so we need to be thinking ahead and addressing that in that type of a manner. So I appreciate your work to this point, and it's unfortunate that some folks wound up being incarcerated, but you're going to find that certain percentage in no matter what you do, and that's the unfortunate side of society. So we do appreciate you acting very quickly on this, actually. It's been, I think, a month since this came to our attention, and it concerns a lot more than just homelessness. It's the health and safety of our environment here. So from the chair, and I believe I speak for the rest of the board, I do appreciate your quick action on this and the teamwork that came together to address this.
Well, again, from the Sheriff's Office point of view, the board will always be done with empathy and compassion, but also progressive.
Thank you very much. Members of the public wishing to speak to this item? Yes, please. Come forward, step to the podium, state your name for the record, and try and keep it to 3 minutes, please.
I'm David Yusupov, Executive Director of Ukiah and Coast Community Center. We have offices in Ukiah and in Fort Bragg. We are the gateway to homeless services in Mendocino County. I've personally worked with the homeless population for the last 12 years and can state there's always going to be homeless people who do not want our service, who have chosen this as a way of life. In the past 2 years, I have certainly seen a different face of homelessness in Mendocino County. A lot of these are transient in nature. Some of them are here for music events, festivals. Some of them, of course, are here for marijuana culture, mushroom hunting. But I don't believe that the bulk of them here are there for that reason. I believe there's a new sort of movement in this country of people, young people moving around. You'll see 4 or 5 of them, 2 or 3 dogs in groups. They normally do not access our service except for possibly our food bank. Part of the problem in the Russian River area, is just a small example, is there's a teenage population who also use this site as well as other sites in Mendocino County to party, and they also leave a large amount of trash behind. And due to the fact that our program is county-wide, the Russian River is not an isolated incident. I know 4 such sites on the coast and alone that have the same problems as the Russian River is experiencing, and unfortunately, there's no organization or group to help clean this area up. There's a huge encampment out in Big River right now, which is the same sort of issue. The anti-camping ordinance that was passed a few years ago has caused a lot of these homeless people to move further into the woods. When they move further into the woods, they're also taking more stuff with them, and they're not bringing their trash back. That's part of the problem. But one of the big problems I want to address is on any given night in Mendocino County, between emergency shelter and transitional housing beds, there are only 125. Our last point in time count showed there were 1,500 homeless people in Mendocino County that we found. I know there are a lot more than that. As more families access our services, which we've seen a huge increase, the single population are losing their beds, because obviously the Buddy Eller are going to house families and children before single people, which is understandable. Solutions. We really need a full-time outreach worker that visits all these encampments to try to get people into service. We definitely need more beds. And in the winter months, we really need an extreme weather shelter countywide. The Buddy Eller Center and what they have is great, but it's certainly not enough to address our needs. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lisa Hilligus, Managing Attorney for Legal Services of Northern California. As you know, my office represents a few members of our community in housing element litigation that's ongoing, the new case for lack of implementation of the current housing element. My office also serves as a member on the Homeless Services program group, and we do work with homeless people quite often. So